Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to For StarCraft 2 Strategy, your #1 location for step-by-step strategy and tutorial videos. Today we're going to be taking a look at a Terran strategy. What we're going to be looking at today is a Reaper Marauder strategy. So this is going to be a Terran first Zerg strategy. In this specific replay, our Terran player is AGATLS, Agilus, and the Zerg opponent here is Liquid Hypro. Or Haypro, Liquid Haypro. So yeah, we're going to be starting off with some pretty standard stuff. Basically, the idea behind the strategy that we're going for here is we're going to be getting early game Reapers, which with proper micro, they can be very effective versus Zerg opponent, because until the Zerglings get that speed upgrade, you can basically just kite Zerglings around all day. And then also, if you can manage to pull the queen off the creep, you can kite a queen around all day too. So if you basically run in and take a pop at the queen with your Reapers and then run back, if she tries to chase you, you can continuously do that until you kill her, essentially. So we're going to be starting off here with that 10 supply depot, and that's going to be followed up with the 12 barracks. The Barracks, rather. I'm going to try to more clearly say Barracks, because I've come to realize that when I don't think about it, when I say Barracks, I in fact say Barracks as if there were a bear wielding an axe, which is, by the way, absolutely hysterical vision. And yeah, I'm just gonna capitalize on that fact, and you know, once we eventually come out with merchandise like t-shirts and stuff, there will be one that has a picture of a bear with an axe, rest assured. The 12 Barracks. There will be 12 bears with axes. Yeah, so starting off with that 10 supply depot, followed by the 12 barracks, and then when the barracks is building, we're going to be grabbing that refinery. I'm going to want to go ahead and saturate that refinery as well, and as soon as we get that Vespian, we're going to be attaching a tech lab to the barracks. Now taking a look here at our Zerg opponent, what we do see is he is going for that quick expansion there. Guessing he went for a 14 or 15 hatchery. Pretty standard stuff there, trying to get a strong economic advantage early in the game. Now the issue is, since we have scouted that, we can take advantage of that in knowing that he's not likely to be hitting us really early with stuff. So what we're going to be doing is, again, we have that tech lab coming on the barracks, and we're going to start pumping out Reapers. As I said at the beginning of the video, Reapers are very, very strong early on for Zerg, because they are able to snipe a queen if microed properly, and they can just run around Zerglings all day, until the point that Zergs get that speed upgrade, of course. But I mean, that's why I said they're effective early on, because that's when they are effective. So taking a look here, again, just coming out with that first Reaper there. We're also going to be researching the Nitro Packs there for that increased Reaper speed. Dropping down another supply depot to make sure we don't get supply blocked. We did get that Orbital Command at 15 supply. That's a pretty standard number there to get it at. 15 or 16 supply is usually what you see that Orbital Command being dropped at. So as you can see, we're going to be moving up here with our Reaper, and like I said, we can pretty much dance around these Zerglings until they get their speed upgrade. Now unfortunately, we were trying to build this bunker out here just to take out this early hatchery. Unfortunately, he did take the SCV out, so that's not going to be what happens anymore. In fact, I'm pretty sure we're going to go ahead and cancel that, unless we're sending up another SCV to try to continue to build it. It looks like that's what we're doing, but I don't think it's going to make it there in time. But essentially what we're looking at doing here is we're going to start the game out with a bunch of Reapers, and we're going to use that to harass the Zerg player as much as possible up until the point where he gets that speed upgrade, which he hasn't even started researching yet because he hasn't had the gas due to this really fast expansion. So he's going to have to wait until he gets his first 100 gas before he can even start researching that metabolic boost. So that leaves a large window open, a large window of opportunity for us to harass him with these Reapers. We're also coming out here with these 2 additional barracks, and we're going to be getting Command Center ourselves. Since he was going for that fast expansion, that does tell us that, again, there's not going to be much early game pressure until he gets both lines saturated, and he's really taking advantage of that economy that he was trying to do. So as you can see here, we're going to be moving with these Reapers, just dancing around. We're coming out with these additional barracks because we're going to be following up this Reaper harassment by getting Marauders. The reason we're doing that is because Marauders are very strong versus things like Queens and Buildings, but also a proper response to Reapers as a Zerg player is to go ahead and get Roaches. Roaches are very, very strong against Reapers, and if that's the case, if he ends up going for those Roaches, these Marauders are going to be a strong, basically hard counter to them. They just do very well. They've got that increased range compared to the compared to the roaches. Wow. Sometimes I really have trouble with words, but I think you guys are aware of that by now. So yeah, we're getting this bunker out here, a nice little defensive position. This is going to allow us to cover both our ramp and the expansion that we're going to be dropping soon as we finish this Orbital Command. And just a quick note on that, actually. A lot of times when you do this kind of expansion where you build a command center in your base and then you lift it off to expand to your natural or to another position, it's a smart idea to get the Orbital Command before you lift it off and land it. Basically what's going to happen is all this time that's passing right now between lifting off and landing it, you're accumulating energy, and using that time to your advantage, it's going to allow you to get more mules out, as opposed to if you were to lift it off not being an Orbital Command and then switch it. You're kind of missing out on that 15-20 seconds of energy gathering while it's drifting through the air. And that may not seem like a lot, but honestly every little bit helps. All that little extra energy that you can get is going to be beneficial to you. So yeah, we're moving into our natural expansion here. We're going to take advantage of the fact that we're not likely to see much early pressure from the Zerg player. Still abusing these Reapers. Again, he hasn't finished the metabolic beast yet, so his Zerglings are still pretty slow. And we're going to take advantage of that, try to do as much harassment as possible. Ideally what we want to try to do is get down to the mineral line and pick off workers. Now we've had trouble in this particular game because of the fact that our Zerg opponent here has been covering these ledges with Zerglings, not allowing us to get there. But here's that transition I was talking about with these additional barracks that we were building. We did go ahead and attach tech labs, and we're basically going to be pumping out Marauders. And we're going to use the likelihood that he'll be switching to roaches to our advantage. Now, he doesn't actually switch to roaches, and I did want to show you this replay specifically for that reason, that even if they don't do what you expect them to do, even if their response isn't what you expect, certain strategies can still be effective. Now, these Marauders obviously still do damage for every unit. It's not like they're not going to do damage to Zerglings. They're not as effective versus Zerglings as they are versus roaches, but it's still going to work out in our benefit. So we're moving up here with some Reapers. Going to be picking off some of these creep tumors, trying to stop the expansion of that creep. And this is the point where our Reapers become less effective, when those Zerglings have that speed upgrade and they can kind of get us around on our Reapers. So we're going to be pulling back. And then once we amass a larger force of Marauders here, that's when we're going to be pushing out. Getting a couple Marines as well with this fifth barracks that we built here, or this fourth barracks that we built here. We attached a reactor just to get some Marines for some for some air support, and also just to sit back and help pick off any Zerglings we may be seeing. So we're moving up here, and an important thing to note is that we're pulling up with some SCVs. Now obviously SCVs aren't an attacking unit, they're a worker, but they still do damage, and they still kind of create a sort of a distraction. Basically by standing on these front lines here, if your Zerg opponent moves his units into yours, they're going to attack the SCVs instead of going for the critical units that deal damage, like the Reapers and the Marauders. So it kind of, it's almost like confusing the opponent AI. When they send their Zerglings at you, again, they're going to be going for those SCVs initially, and they're not going to be doing damage to what they should be doing damage to, which are the damage-dealing units. As you can see right down here at the bottom, all these Zerglings engaging those SCVs aren't doing damage to these units, and that's kind of the point of bringing up workers in some of your attacks. Especially early game attacks, just having that extra little bit of a distraction can provide you with enough damage to swing in your favor to lead to a victory. So as you can see, because of those distracting SCVs, so many of his Zerglings were attacking those, and it left these Marauders and these Reapers to just do their full amount of damage without being inhibited at all. So we did go ahead, we took out his natural here, and Liquid Hey Pro does call good game because he realizes at this point he doesn't have too much. He does have this infestation pit down, and only has a couple Zerglings coming in, 12 morphing in, but that's not going to be enough for this massive units. And aside from that, you know, we have been producing backup units back at our base, so keeping up on that macro. So taking a look here back at the strategy, again, this is kind of a Reaper Marauder build. Those early Reapers used before the Zerglings get their speed upgrade to harass, and then the Marauders as a strong follow-up because of their capability of sniping hatcheries and other buildings, and then also their advantages over roaches. So we're going to be starting off with that 10 supply. I'm going to keep going on this one. I will not put this in outtakes. We're going to start off with that 10 supply depot. We'll follow that up with the 12 barracks. While the barracks is building, we're getting that refinery. And once the refinery comes up, going ahead and saturating it. The barracks completes building, and once we have our gas, we attach our first tech lab, and that's when we start pumping out Reapers. We research that Nitro Pack upgrade to try to take full advantage of the Reaper speed. Getting that Orbital Command to 15, and then from that point, we're going to be getting additional barracks here, pumping out Marauders after our Reaper Harass is rendered ineffective by that Zerg speed upgrade, and then kind of just pushing out. And again, a little note there was that pushing out with those SCVs can be very beneficial, again, because of that distraction and how they can kind of mess up and confuse the opponent's AI. So again, guys, this has been for StarCraft 2 strategy. I know I didn't go into the full build order in my recap here, but that's going to be located at the bottom in the video description, as I've been doing recently, and I'm going to continue to do that, try to get the build orders out for you guys. So if you guys like our videos here and you like what we're doing, please do go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Keep watching and keep owning, guys.